ధరణిలో ప్రేమాధార కరుణ ప్రాచు हेनु प्रभु पुत्र गेला आचार्य ठाकुर हेनो प्रभु पुत्र गेला आचार्य ठाकुर दास रघुनाथ पतित दास रघुनाथ पतित कबीरा कबीरा एक काले कोठा गेला घोरा नटारा एक काले कोटा गेला घोरा পাশে গো পাশানে করে গো আনালে পাশে গো গৌরাঙ্গা গুণেরা নিধে কোথা গেলে পা গৌরাঙ্গা গুণেরা নিধে কোথা গেলে পা যে কইল বেলা সে সব সঙ্গীরা যে কইল বেলা से संग ना पाइया कांदे से संग ना पाइया कांदे करुणा प्रचुर तेनु प्रभु कोता गेला आचार्य ठाकुर तेनु प्रभु कोता गेला आचार्य ठाकुर Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Tirubhav Maha Mahotsav ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. He who brought the treasure of divine love and who has filled with compassion and mercy, where has such a personality as Advait Acharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatt and Gopal Bhatt? And where is Krishna Das Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all of the devotees, in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps. Narottam Das Thakur ki.
Last Saturday we were here offering prayers in kirtan for Maharaj's recovery. Of course, Krishna had other plans, and so Tirobhav, what we say, we don't like how uh, in the outside world someone says no, a person has been born and a person has died. So for a Vaishnava, we don't say a person has died, we say a person has disappeared. Because, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, he reasons ill who says a Vaishnav dies while thou art living still in sound. A Vaishnav dies to live and while living spreads the holy names around. So, the great Vaishnava, they just are no longer physically present in front of us, and they are wherever their spiritual master wants them, wherever the Lord wants them. So, it is called as Tirobhav. Tirobhav for a great Vaishnava or a great Acharya is also actually called as Vaishnav Vijay Divas. Vijay Divas because they have now conquered the cycle of birth and death, and they are in the service of the Lord, or they are in the service of their spiritual master. So last Sunday, Dwadashi was His Holiness Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj's Vijay Divas, and it is said that it is a bitter-sweet situation for the devotees who are left behind. It is sweet because you know that Vaishnava is in the spiritual world with Krishna, serving Krishna personally over there, or serving his Guru. And of course, it is bitter because the devotees are bereft of the association of such an exalted, glorious Vaishnava. So we will glorify His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj today, as we started by Shantivardhan Prabhu singing Jaya Nilo. This is actually, when I was new to Krishna consciousness, I used to really like this bhajan, not knowing why it is sung or when it is sung, and I used to sing it. And then gradually, as you get attached to some Vaishnavas, and then when they leave, this bhajan starts getting sung again and again. And then after a while, you just never want to hear this bhajan, unless if it is for some, like if it's for Prabhupada or if it's for Bhakti Siddhanta, then it's fine because that. But so I remember we went to Delhi and me and Nitai Jivan Prabhu from the airport straight we went to Radha Parthasati temple, and I don't know if you remember, we entered and they started singing Jaya Nilo Premadana. And since then, heard Jaya Nilo Premadana so many times that actually a bit sick of it, from the sense that always then remember that Maharaj has left. So, but over the last 1 week, we've heard so much of Maharaj's glories. Actually, His Grace Sitaram Prabhu was supposed to speak right now. Left. Yeah. And then while Jehanilo was going on, he said, I will not be able to speak. And he had tears in his eyes and he left. So we've heard so many glories of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj that so we'll just what we'll do today is for the next hour we will first read Maharaj's will, because this was such an inspirational will that everybody, all devotees across ISKCON are just glorifying the will that Maharaj has written, which just shows Maharaj's dedication and determination to serve Prabhupada's ISKCON and to serve Srila Prabhupada. In fact, we've gotten this printed, not in this form, but in a different format with Maharaj's photographs. And tomorrow we'll be distributing this, ISKCON Bhiwandi will be distributing this to everyone who comes for tomorrow's remembrance program. So tomorrow, please do come. At 8 o'clock, Maharaj will come to the temple hall, take darshan of the deities, and then go to Mandapam hall. And then from 8:30 onwards, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj and then His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj will glorify Maharaj. Then we will play a lecture of Guru Maharaj. And after that, all the senior devotees will glorify Maharaj. And that will go on till 1:30. And then there will be Pushpanjali, Aarti. And Prasad, we have, this time Sitaram Prabhu was coordinating Prasad. So then there is ample Prasad throughout the day. So Prasad starts from 8 o'clock and Prasad goes on till 9 p.m. In the basement. So please do come for tomorrow's program. There will be a morning session and then there will be an evening session from 6 to 9 also. There will be a break between 3 to 6. The more we come and hear the glories of the Vaishnavas, the more we feel connected to them, and also the more we feel inspired to do something with our life. So I will read Maharaj's will. I will read the relevant portions. Yeah. So, yeah, the first page is basically it's the legal stuff. So I, Gopal Krishna Goswami, A.K. Gopal Krishna Khanna, son of late Mr. Anand Swarup Khanna, born on 14th August 1944, and a resident of ISKCON Delhi, do hereby revoke my previous wills. So these are all the legal stuff which we, and then Maharaj has signed. He says, I am a trustee of ISKCON India and BBT and a governing body commissioner. I am not a trustee of any other trust except ISKCON Seva Trust. Then there are Maharaj's fingerprints and signatures. And there is the third page. I have always been loyal to the governing body commission of ISKCON and the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, has reflected in his books. I would like all my disciples to follow the GBC body. I have never taken one step out of ISKCON, and I desire that they render their services in ISKCON and not run here and there looking for some easy way out. So Maharaj never liked when disciples or when devotees would go here and there or even online listen to different people outside of ISKCON, because we will not understand, but actually most of them are either speaking Mayavad or they are having some ulterior motives. Now also there is one Babaji from Vrindavan who's become very popular on the internet, on YouTube. So Maharaj never encouraged any of these things. Continuing, the Guru manifests himself in two ways, through Vapu and through Vani. Vapu, you may have heard many times, is temporary. Vani is permanent. So all my instructions are drawn and therefore reflected from Srila Prabhupada's books. Srila Prabhupada has said, your love for me will be shown by how much you cooperate amongst yourselves. And my desire from all my disciples is the same, to cooperate amongst themselves and with ISKCON authority forever. We have seen many times what happens is when a guru leaves, after a while, his disciples get scattered everywhere and very few of them actually remain. So here Maharaj is giving very clear instructions that if you are my disciple, or even if you consider yourself as a Shiksha disciple of Maharaj, if you have not officially taken Diksha but you consider Maharaj an inspiration in your life, then here is an instruction. Maharaj is saying, cooperate amongst themselves and with ISKCON authorities forever. Never leave ISKCON. If I were to pass away outside India, I would be grateful if my body could be brought to Vrindavan or Mayapur and kept in Samadhi there. If I were to pass away in North India, I would like my Samadhi to be in Vrindavan. If I were to pass away nearer to Mayapur, I would like my Samadhi to be in Mayapur. There is a plot of land in Vrindavan where my disciples wanted to construct a house for me. I did not encourage that. It is my desire that this particular land should be donated to ISKCON Vrindavan for any purpose they may deem fit. I see a different picture of mine in almost every temple where my disciples serve. They can choose any picture like this. This practice can go on even after my departure. So I don't know how many of you have seen that if you've been to Bhakti Dham, then just next to Bhakti Dham, towards our ISKCON Vrindavan, there's this big plot of land. So that was actually bought by Maharaj's wealthy disciples to make a house for Maharaj. And when Maharaj heard that, he was very angry and upset with them. And he said, I forbid you from making anything over there. And so that land was just there. It was used as a parking lot for ISKCON cars. Similarly, once one or two wealthy disciples of Maharaj had bought a BMW car for him. And Maharaj was coming back from the west and he landed at Delhi airport and this car was there to receive him. And Maharaj got so angry he didn't enter the car. He said, I order you immediately to sell it and donate the money to the temple and bring my old car and I will just go in that. And he didn't go. Disciples said, okay, Maharaj, just go from here till the temple in this car and after that we'll sell it. थोड़ा और price मिलेगा आपका lotus feet जाएगा तो. But he just did not agree. He said, you expect me to travel in this and then you expect me to preach renunciation and to beg people to give their life and money. I will not do it. So he waited in the heat of Delhi airport outside for more than an hour till the temple vehicle came. Similarly, here he's saying that this land I don't want. So later on, the disciples thought we will make, whenever Maharaj leaves, we'll make a samadhi for him there. So that also Maharaj came to know. And so therefore, in this will, he's specifically writing that I don't want that land to be used. It should be donated to ISKCON Vrindavan. In fact, Maharaj, I'm sure most of you must have seen the pictures or the videos of the samadhi. Some of you even were in Vrindavan. So in the Goshala where the samadhis of all the other devotees are, over there in that same compound, in the same space in which the other Vaishnavas are there, in that same space, Maharaj's samadhi is there. Whereas he should be having a huge samadhi and a huge memorial over there, but he chose just to be so humble that even after he left, he wanted that his samadhi should be just like anyone else. So there are a couple of Grihastha disciples there. There is Yamuna Mataji there, and with that, the person who has built 18 temples in Delhi, so many disciples around the world, so many other temples, book distribution, so much. His samadhi is also in that same small space as the others. So these are Maharaj's glories. I don't really have any assets, cash, bank deposit, lockbox, vehicle, stocks, or any other property in my name. All the properties in the zones managed by me in ISKCON are registered legally in ISKCON's name. And there's nothing in my name except a Rolex watch gifted by Srila Prabhupada in 1977, my laptop, and 2 mobiles. I desire that this watch be handed over to one of my disciples who helped me serving Srila Prabhupada. The laptop and mobiles and with all the logins and passwords will be in the custody of whoever will be my secretary at the time of my leaving my body. My clothes and sweaters can be distributed to disciples and other devotees by the team of my assistants. I have not authored any books except some lecture transcripts brought out by different disciples at different places. there is no copyright owned by me on this. So Maharaj is saying here, my only asset, I don't have any assets except for a Rolex watch that Prabhupada gave me in 1977 and one computer and two phones which his disciples were using. So this watch was very special, and Maharaj would always travel with it. And whenever Maharaj would go out, like for a Rath Yatra or for some excursion like this, he would always remove the watch, keep it in his room, and then go, because he didn't want at on any cost there should anything should happen to this watch. Similarly with his beads, Maharaj was like that with his beads also. The beads that Srila Prabhupada gave him in 1968, he still had those beads with him. So he would be very, very careful. And whenever any disciple would lose their beads, he would always chastise them and show them his beads and say that, look, you see this? These are the beads Prabhupada gave me. I still have them. You are so careless. Uh, yeah, so, and this watch, Maharaj, it was the Maha of Prabhupada, and Maharaj considered it as his greatest asset. My only true assets are my personal deities, and I do not want these to be worshipped by any individual. I therefore desire that my Shaligram Shilas and the deities be kept in the altar and worshipped at Shri Shri Radha Parthasarthi Temple, ISKCON Delhi, Shri Shri Radha Radhikaraman Temple, ISKCON Punjabi Bagh, and could be divided amongst other temples in my zones. I desire so as, if the deities are part of the temple altar, then they will be safe, and in case they are worshipped by individuals, they could be abandoned. So Maharaj was very particular about his puja every single day. We all know that he used to be in the altar of the temple doing Mangal Arati. But after that, he would go to his room, and around 8 o'clock or so, his personal deity puja would start. And that would go on for 2 hours. And Maharaj, uh, when his health was good, even later on, he had over, I don't know, like 50, 60 Shilas he has. He would with his hands personally wipe and clean and oil each and every one of them every single day. And then he would offer arati to all of them and to his God Nitai deities. So, and whenever many of you would have had this experience, whenever we would enter his room, first he would say, go and take darshan of my deities. And then you could pay obeisances to him and talk to him. Before that, he would always say, go take darshan of my deities. So Maharaj was so attached, he's saying, my only true assets are my personal deities. And therefore he wants them to be worshipped in temples so that the worship continues. So all temples are going to be canvassing, even for Bhiwandi and Attapur we will be requesting for one Shila of Maharaj. The rest of this on this page is legal stuff which we won't get into. Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, then he's writing here, I direct that all my disciples shall behave and conduct themselves in the following manner upon my demise. So now Maharaj is giving 10 instructions. These are considered like his final instructions. These are not just for his disciples, these are for all devotees to take inspiration from. The first one, always accept His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, as the preeminent Shiksha Guru for all time. Always accept ISKCON's governing body commission, GBC, as the ultimate managerial authority of ISKCON and as Srila Prabhupada's representative, and to therefore follow its instructions and directions. Lead your life so as to be exemplary representatives of ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada. So whether a person is a brahmachari, a grihastha, a congregation devotee, a full-time devotee, Guru Maharaj wants everyone to lead our lives so as to be exemplary representatives of ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada. Like wherever you go, and if you meet a representative of a company, for example, if you go on a plane and the pilot or the air hostess of Air India, or if you go to a bank and the teller of the bank or the relationship manager of the bank, or wherever you go, if they are very exemplary and if they are well behaved and if they greet you nicely and they take care of you, you apply that to the whole organization. You will say, oh, this bank is very nice, or this airline is very nice, or this company is very nice. Similarly, Maharaj wants that we are representing Prabhupada and we are representing ISKCON. So we should not be seen talking badly. We should not be seen not living a Vaishnav life, not following the regulative principles. So lead your life so as to be exemplary representatives of ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada. Cooperate together with all other ISKCON devotees to push this movement forward. So this is one speciality of Maharaj. He would consider, he would give love and attention to all devotees of ISKCON, irrespective of whether they were his disciples or not. In fact, he would give more love and affection to the other devotees who are not his disciples, disciples of other gurus, disciples of gurus who left their body, and Maharaj would really love and care for them. So cooperate together is what Maharaj's whole life was. So he wants all his disciples and all devotees to cooperate together to push, not just cooperate together for what? To push this movement forward. When some of you advance sufficiently to become gurus and sannyasis, to work under the GBC authorized processes to take up those services. Point 6, this was something that when Maharaj would see someone go, he would really be very pained. In fact, he would even cry. Never leave ISKCON. First and foremost, think yourselves as members of ISKCON. Never fight with ISKCON. Resolve your differences internally in a Vaishnava way. So first and foremost, think yourselves as members of ISKCON. Don't think yourselves as, Mr. Shah, Mr. Gandhi, Mr. whoever. Not that any Shah or Gandhi I'm referring to here, but Mr. Vaswani. We should not refer to ourselves like that. We should not refer to ourselves as Punjabis, Gujaratis, Marathis, Sindhis. We should not think of ourselves first as Mumbaikars or as Indians. We should think of ourselves first as members of ISKCON. Maharaj is saying, first and foremost, think of yourselves as members of ISKCON. Never fight with ISKCON. Resolve your differences internally in a Vaishnava way. Never align yourselves with persons or groups not authorized by the GBC. Seriously study Srila Prabhupada's books on a regular basis. Always chant at least 16 attentive rounds every day. Chant at least 25 rounds on Ekadashis and special festival days. And strictly follow the 4 regulative principles of no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. So, this is what in every lecture of Maharaj's you would hear these things. And he is repeating it in his will as well. 16 rounds every day, 25 rounds on Ekadashi. So actually when I got initiated and Maharaj was, we had to tell our vows. So that time I purposely did not say 25 rounds on Ekadashi. I just said 16 rounds and I mentioned the regulative principles. And so I thought, मैंने तो promise किया नहीं है, तो all these years, I cheated and I avoided many times chanting 25 rounds. But now this is an instruction which nobody can avoid. So chant 25, at least 25 rounds on Ekadashis and special festival days, not just Ekadashi, special festival days. Avoid the 4 regulative principles. Work to make ISKCON a dynamic society. This was something that Maharaj was always after. He took dynamic to a whole new level. He had contacts with the Prime Minister, with the President. He had contacts with big businessmen, big politicians, rich people, industrialists, and so on and so forth. And at the same time, he would greet a person who's just come to the temple for the first time, who from his attire is, we understand, is a poor person. He would greet them also with a nice Hare Krishna. So Maharaj wants us to further ISKCON, and very clearly he's writing here, not clubbing that with any other line, but specifically a short 9th line. Work to make ISKCON a dynamic society. And the last one, just in case it's not clear, the last one is like a whole lifetime of instruction. Continue donating your time and resources to ISKCON's causes. So by this we understand he wants us to be in ISKCON, he wants us to further ISKCON, he wants us to be good representatives of ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada. He wants us to cooperate together, resolve our differences in a Vaishnava way, be spiritual, chant 16 rounds, read Prabhupada's books. He's not just writing read Prabhupada's books, he's writing seriously study Srila Prabhupada's books on a regular basis. Maharaj once was saying that, I should make this also a vow. 16 rounds, read Prabhupada's books for 1 hour every day. In many lectures he used to say this. And also he's writing, never align yourselves with any other groups or persons apart from ISKCON. So Maharaj was truly a Prabhupada man and an ISKCON man. And then some more instruction in the end. I wish to state that all my endeavors as a devotee have been to serve Srila Prabhupada and the International Society for Krishna Consciousness ISKCON, and I have nothing of my own except my deities. Therefore, I further direct that any assets, including temples, foundations, and or projects associated with me, inspired or directed by me or my disciples, must for all time remain under the auspices and directions of the GBC, who are the ultimate managerial authority of ISKCON. Thank you for your service and love for Srila Prabhupada. Serving you has been my privilege. Thank you for your service and love for Srila Prabhupada. Serving you has been my privilege. I thank Srila Prabhupada, my spiritual master, the founder Acharya and the preeminent Shiksha Guru of ISKCON, and a pure devotee of Lord Krishna from the spiritual world, for providing me shelter in this house he built for the whole world to live in, and desire that all my disciples stay in that house, imbibe the highest philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and still higher than that, practice the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. His Holiness Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki. Okay. So, the chairman of the GBC, His Grace Tapan Mishra Prabhu in Vrindavan, when he made his offering, he said that if we ever required a template for a will that an ISKCON guru or an ISKCON GBC or an ISKCON devotee or ISKCON manager should follow, then Gopal Krishna Maharaj has left us with the perfect template, because Maharaj has left no stone unturned to convey and communicate that he just wants everyone to be in ISKCON and serve ISKCON, and that's it. Now what we will do is we will play a video of Guru Maharaj glorifying Srila Prabhupada. That's around a 30-minute video. And then we'll play a 15-minute video of very nice video where Maharaj is in an interview in the early 80s in Canada. And yeah, we'll do these two things now. Oh, my screen went there. Okay, we'll show the video of Maharaj preaching first, and then we'll show Maharaj's memories of Prabhupada.
The Munis I hate, as you well know. Here is a man, though, who is not a Muni. He's Gopal Krishna Goswami, and he is the head of the Hare Krishnas in Canada and in India. Now, Gopal, what do I call you? Gopal?
Yeah, that's okay. Gopal Krishna Swami or Gopal Krishna Maharaj.
Are you an honest-to-goodness guru?
Yes, a guru means one who gives spiritual guidance. So that is my business, to give spiritual guidance to society.
I see. And you really, all the Krishnas are really cop-outs. You take no part in the practical life of the country. You merely go around dressed in your saffron robes, chanting and selling things.
I would like to say that the people like you are cop-outs. In other words, the natural position of the living entity is to serve God. So when one doesn't serve God, he becomes a cop-out.
I see.
In fact, I think we're looking at things the other way around.
I thought that Krishna consciousness came from India. Are all your followers in Western Canada non-Indians?
I would say 99%.
But any time I meet them now,
I would say 99% of our congregation around the world outside India consists of people from that part of the world.
I kind of like you. You're a nice guy. You're only 37. But every time I meet any of your followers, such as the two you have with you this morning, they all seem rather glazed and brainwashed. Is Hare Krishna a method of brainwashing people into abject serfdom and slavery?
Actually, I'd like to correct your understanding. We don't brainwash people. In fact, from the very birth, the media and the educational system, the society, the relatives, brainwash the living entity to forget his relationship with God.
True.
So what we are doing actually is just helping undo that brainwashing by presenting the real truth to the individual.
All right, if I become a Hare Krishna, I must accept Krishna consciousness. I must understand it. I must give up all material things. I must take a vow of poverty, and I must stand around in the streets chanting Hare, Hare, Hare.
You don't have to stand on the
But
streets.
you do it all the time.
Not all of
You
us.
block the traffic in the streets.
We
You
don't
behave abominably on the
No,
streets.
we don't block the traffic. When was the last time you saw traffic jammed due to our chanting?
Gone to the Hudson Bay.
When? Did the traffic get blocked?
No, but you can't even walk by the corner without being pestered by people
No,
in
not anymore.
saffron robes.
Not anymore. In fact, when we are out on saffron roads by Hudson's Bay, we're giving people away free literature. Who is standing in downtown Vancouver and giving out free literature?
The Watchtower and the Krishna.
They don't give it free. They request a donation, but we give our literature free.
Now-
And we are also distributing cookies free.
You're giving away cookies free.
Sure.
Tell me this, though. Do you have some relationship to the Moonies? Sun Young Moon, who has built up a massive multi-billion-dollar empire selling things.
We have no relationship with him or his philosophy at all.
What do you think of the Moonies?
Our relationship is with the Supreme Lord Krishna. We follow the Vedic scriptures that has its roots in India. Regarding the Moonies, we do not think it's a bona fide movement. It's not based upon authentic scriptures. Religion has to be based upon a bona fide scripture. Scriptures defined as the words of God.
All right, now how do you get me into the Moonies? And tell me how you brainwashed me so that I will accept this poverty and this humble existence in a material
We don't
society.
want to brainwash you. We would just wish that the brainwashing that you've experienced from your birth is freed. That's all.
Right.
We don't want to brainwash you. We want to present the truth. We don't run commercials of the commercials like you do, trying to brainwash people to buy a product. We are just humbly begging people to understand the real reality.
That's another thing. You beg on the streets. You beg at the airports. I've seen you begging and begging and begging.
When did you see us last begging on the streets?
In the last few years, I must have approached a dozen
you
times.
have the Vancouver Sun article in front of you.
But I don't believe what I read in the Vancouver Sun.
Okay, fine.
You tell me. Have you
Okay.
stopped begging on the streets?
Yes, we have.
Finished.
Yes, we have.
Do you sell pamphlets on the streets?
No, we don't. We give away pamphlets now because our sources of deriving income now have improved. We have a very wide congregation that gives us donations. Many members of our society do professional assignments, and our society is maturing and growing day by day. Even in Canada.
Interesting point. Donations. If I am employed materially and
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, how much of my income must I give to you? What is the tithe?
There's no minimum, there's no maximum. It all
10%.
depends. It all depends upon one's realization.
I must tithe what income I have to your
Well,
society.
I'll tell you one thing. The members of our society donate on a voluntary basis. There's no compulsion.
How much pocket money do we get?
Who?
Your people who live in your communes.
They don't get a penny as pocket money. In fact, they have taken a vow of poverty. They've decided to dedicate their whole lives for the propagation of God consciousness, which is the need of the society.
How many-
You should be using your television to encourage the propagation of God consciousness, because this is the biggest problem in society today.
But somebody's got to work. Somebody's got to build the hospitals.
Fine,
Somebody's got to
fine.
make the inventions.
Fine, go ahead and-
Somebody's got to supply the services. You
Fine.
take all the advantages, but you do nothing practically to help society.
In fact, we take all the advantages and we are rendering the biggest gift to society,
Inner
giving
peace.
them God consciousness, giving them the process by which they can realize peace, the process by which they can become happy. The problem in society, take for example Vancouver or any society, everything good is on the decline. Everything evil is on the increase. Why? Due to a lack of God consciousness. God or Krishna has to be brought in the center of
You're
our lives.
not suggesting to me, Gopal, that the state of evil in the society is any worse today than it was 100 years ago.
It is. Take, for example, the government statistics.
The which?
Statistics. The crime rate has gone up now compared to 100 years ago.
Depends who does the statistics. I could do them again and it would go down by 100 years ago. But tell me this,
Okay.
how many times do heartbroken parents, serious question, heartbroken
Parents.
broken heart, heartbroken parents come to you and say, for God's sake, free my youngster from your clutches?
You'll be surprised, not too often, and even when they do come and they see how happy the children are, they begin to reconsider what they have been thinking.
Okay, I have more questions, and I might have time for a few calls to our delightful Hare Krishna man, Gopal Krishna Goswami. Excuse my cough. After the break. All that my friend Gopal Krishna Goswami wants to talk about is philosophy, but I want to talk about practical things. Do you ban drugs?
Completely.
Do you ban all premarital sex?
Yes, we do.
Do you eat meat?
No.
You regard women as inferior to men?
Not at all. I'm surprised why the media keeps bringing up this point again and again. The women have a role to play, the men have a role to play, the children have a role to play, and they're all playing their respective roles, just like within your TV station. You have different people doing different assignments based on their abilities, isn't it? Why isn't everybody else cheering the show?
Dear old Rick Houston quotes you as saying...
You just told me that you didn't believe in this article of the Vancouver
I believe
Sun.
what I want to believe when I want to believe it.
But he just told me 5 minutes
When I
ago.
want to believe it, I believe it. You say women are intellectually inferior because their brains weigh less?
We believe this has been misrepresented.
You don't say that.
No, I said something different. I said we've heard about that, but we didn't discuss this. You just said yourself that you don't
But
believe this article.
women are treated inferior and are...
They are not treated inferior. Just say, like, for example, if a woman has to stay at home to take care of children, doesn't mean that she is inferior. Women have different roles to play.
Anyway.
But everyone has an equal opportunity for serving Krishna. That is the point to note.
I'll bet you don't get many tough kids in Krishna. I bet you get the kind of university dropouts who are a little confused.
Well, I think you'll be surprised.
And have been through drugs.
Are you telling me the university graduates are not confused?
Oh, they're confused, but the more confused ones join Krishna.
I think the more education you acquire, the more confused you get. In fact, there was an article in the papers yesterday which said that all these professionals are becoming unemployed, really don't know what to do with themselves.
Okay,
so here you have people who have education and experience, and they're confused. They don't know what to do when they become unemployed.
Gopal, you're almost too good to be true. How many times have people been deprogrammed to get rid of this chanting hypnotism with which you infect their poor little brains?
Well, not too many have been deprogrammed, because the reality is, even when they do get deprogrammed, they always end up coming back to the Hare Krishnas, the children, or the...
What age must they be before you will accept them in one of your communes?
Whatever the minimum age of the law of that country is. We do not let anybody come unless he fulfills the minimum legal requirement of that country.
Does he have to bring money?
No, he doesn't.
Gopal, I was determined not to shout at you this morning, and I'm not going to shout at you. I just don't like your sect or your cult.
Well, first of all, we are not a cult. A cult is defined as a group in which one personality is the leader, which is not based upon any bona fide religious scriptures. The Krishna conscious movement follows the Vedic texts, which are the oldest known scriptures to mankind. The roots of this religion trace back 5,000 years, and there are millions of Hindus around the world who follow the same beliefs that we do.
You're all Hindus. If one is a Krishna, is one a Hindu?
Our beliefs are very similar, yes.
But that means that all these guys who are the white faces and the cropped hair are all Hindus?
Our beliefs are the same.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Good morning, Jack.
Morning.
I'd like to ask this gentleman who's teaching his children. I noticed that on the streets there are a lot of young kids doing their little dance with their parents. I suppose they are. Who's putting them through the education system?
We have our own system of education, which has been developed after a great deal of research, And in fact, we found our children to be able to read and write and speak better than these children
Okay,
of other
your
schools.
children do not go to the public schools, is that
We
correct?
have our own schools.
You have your own schools?
Yes.
You pay for yourself?
Yes, we've developed our own curriculum.
Okay.
We pay for ourselves, we teach ourselves, and the proof is that our kids can read and write and speak better than they're 3 to 4 years ahead of
Is your
children.
school system approved by the government?
Any group, no matter how weird or offbeat, can register a school with the BC government, and they can't refuse to approve it. Do you know that? That's a fact anyway, even if you didn't know it.
And
Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I'd like to ask the Gopal Krishna. I've seen the chanting in the park, and I must say I really like it. I've received some of their magazines and their books, and I've read them. Sometimes I have a hard time understanding some of them, but it seems to me that they really have something to offer society from what they do and what they write. I was wondering if Gopal could tell me what they think they can do for society, and I would like to wish them the best of luck, actually. I think it takes a lot of guts.
Thank you, ma'am. That's a favorable call. We don't need to dwell on it too much.
Well, I can just tell them what we can do for society. For the society, we are giving them education which no other institution is giving. Actually, our institution is an institution where we are imparting the highest education, that is spiritual education.
You say.
Everyone says that.
No, I don't say it.
Because you haven't taken the time to
No, I
understand
know
it.
what it.
You are trying to understand us from a
of the
distance.
Western world. I watch
You
some
are trying
garbage.
to understand us from a distance. But if you come closer to understand us, you'll also say the same thing.
I watched a special the other night about all your strange cults from India and all the rest of it, and there were
But
all
you
these.
should know what is the meaning of a cult.
A cult is a place where people don't have a free will.
How do you say we don't have a free will?
Because-
if somebody doesn't want to stay in a temple, he is free to walk out.
You will forgive this sardonic remark, but I don't see anyone having a free will who walks around in a saffron robe, lives in poverty, not allowed to eat meat, women regarded as inferior, and lives at the kind of low end of the totem pole.
He doesn't live at the low. In fact, he is living at the high end. Therefore, the devotees of Hare Krishna are always happy. Whereas you have to take shelter of meat, drugs, illicit sex, gambling to
Are
be
you
happy.
accusing me? Please, Gopal, I will accept your apology.
Well,
Yes, I will.
we're talking in general.
That's
Okay.
Goodness gracious me. A man of your couth embarrassing a 64-year-old.
No, we're talking in general.
Gopal, really? Go ahead, please. You're making me blush. For the first time in 50 years. Go ahead. Hare Krishna. Would you let parents come and take their kids away?
In fact, you'll be amazed how many parents visit their children on a regular basis. In fact, we encourage our children,
Okay.
our members, to write to their parents.
Okay. You've got 30 seconds to brainwash me to become a Krishna.
You only have
30 seconds.
Our request is, the human form of life has a purpose. The purpose is to establish a relationship with God. Establishing our relationship with God has to be based on some scriptures. Higher than this
Fair
garment
enough,
is the
but you
garment
don't
of...
have to work. If I become a Krishna, I don't have to dirty
You-
my hands
you do have to
fixing
dirty.
automobiles or
You
working
do.
for a living.
You do have to. In fact, we have many mechanics who are Hare Krishnas.
Gopal Krishna Goswami. I shall look forward to the future in Vancouver where there will be no begging on the streets by Krishnas and nobody jamming up the Hudson Bay corner.
Well, I can assure you that whoever hears the chanting benefits spiritually, and the glorification of the Lord should be encouraged. This country was founded on the premise that everything is coming from God. So we are glorifying God in public, and the media should encourage it.
My thanks to Gopal Krishna Goswami. And I'll be back with reality and unemployment and people who work for a living or want to work for a living for the society after the break.
I first came to an ISKCON temple on Labor Day weekend, 1967, in Montreal. I was studying in Toronto, and I'd come for the weekend to visit Expo. And I casually asked one of my friends, is there any Hindu temple in Montreal? He said, yes, the Americans have opened some temple here. Why don't you visit it? So I went to the Montreal temple on Labor Day weekend, 67. And I took part in the Sunday program. The kirtan just went on and on and on and on. And as I was leaving the temple, they had a visitor's book in which I wrote down my name and address. And after returning to Toronto, I started getting a letter every month informing me about the schedule and asking for donation. And in May 68, I received a letter. Our Swamiji is coming to Montreal on June 1st, 68. Please come and meet him. So I was planning on relocating back to Montreal in any case. And I arrived in Montreal on May 31st. And the first assignment the temple president gave me was to clean Prabhupada's apartment, because Prabhupada was coming the next day, and Prabhupada resided at 420 Prince Arthur. So I had the privilege of meeting Prabhupada on June 1st, 1968. And I had almost no exposure to sadhus in India. In fact, there was one Bengali gentleman, Mr. Mukherjee. We used to come to meet Prabhupada regularly. He would tell me, oh, the sadhu is different. Anyway, as time went along, I could see that Prabhupada was a genuine saint. He quoted from the scriptures. He never said something of his own. He was like a real well-wisher, very friendly. And he wanted everyone to be happy. But he knew that real happiness will only come if we follow the scriptures. And Prabhupada was always straightforward. And in those days, there were not so many devotees. Prabhupada actually stayed in Montreal for 3 months. He had some green card problems in America. So he had to go out of America. And he came to Montreal on June 1st, and he stayed on till August 68. And in those days, leaders from different parts of America would regularly come to meet Prabhupada. As I said, I had zero exposure to sadhus. I had never been to Vrindavan in my life. I had never even heard of Vrindavan or Mayapur before I met Prabhupada. And I had never heard of Lord Chaitanya. The brief introduction about Prabhupada was given to me by the Bengali gentleman who said, I've touched the feet of many sadhus, but he looks special. And as I said earlier, Prabhupada also gave me a lot of attention. I was Prabhupada's first Indian disciple in the West. And Prabhupada had a strong desire to also preach to the Indians. And he wanted them to take to Krishna consciousness. Actually, there was one Indian who had joined from Buffalo, but he didn't stay for long. In June 68, we had gone to a high school engagement in a Christian school. It was a school for girls, and there were many nuns in the school. And this program was arranged by a French-Canadian devotee called Janardhan Prabhu. He was doing his PhD at that time. So Prabhupada gave the lecture, and as usual after Prabhupada's lecture, he would say, any questions? The same Mr. Mukherjee, who had told me that Prabhupada was a different type of saint, got up from his chair and started attacking Prabhupada. He started saying, Why do you have to come and preach this philosophy in these Christian countries? They have their own philosophy. You don't need to do this. Devotees were very upset in the way he was being attacked. Prabhupada was not being criticized by the Christian nuns. He was being criticized by one of the people who came in his entourage. So devotees were very upset, and Prabhupada was very cool. In August, Prabhupada was leaving Montreal to go to America. And he told me, Gopal, go and call that Mr. Mukherjee. I said, Prabhupada, he insulted you so badly. Why do you want to see him? And Prabhupada said, I must have done something to him in my last life for which he took revenge. So Prabhupada, I called this gentleman, and Prabhupada blessed him before leaving. So from this we can see how magnanimous and merciful Prabhupada was. And even though this man had humiliated Prabhupada, he really attacked Prabhupada very badly. Prabhupada tolerated it, did not utter one word, and in fact he blessed him before leaving. So I think from this example we should draw inspiration and not retaliate the moment somebody criticizes us. We have to learn to practice Sinadapi Sunichena. When Prabhupada was in Montreal, he opened a bank account in the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, and the branch, I believe, was on Sherbrooke Street. And Prabhupada told me to handle that account for him. So I was giving Prabhupada regular reports, and Prabhupada saw that the bank was charging a high fee for some reason. And Prabhupada was so concerned about saving every penny of Krishna's money. He said, tell the bank not to charge this fee. And Prabhupada, I think, they had to close the bank account because the bank was charging a high fee. As we know from numerous examples, Prabhupada's concern was not to waste even a penny of Krishna's money. He viewed everything as Krishna's property. And whenever he saw some misuse, he would take steps to stop it. As Prabhupada was in Montreal, many leaders would come there, and Montreal had become a focal point. In fact, Prabhupada saw some buildings in Montreal and said, this could be our world headquarters. He was at one time planning on making the world headquarters in Montreal. And Prabhupada saw everything as a possible. Prabhupada always was thinking how he can use everything in service of the Lord. There was one lady who came to meet Prabhupada, and Prabhupada, as usual, preached to her, please chant Hare Krishna mantra. The lady said, Swamiji, I'm always chanting, 24 hours. Prabhupada said, 24 hours? How do you chant? She said, I'm mentally chanting 24 hours. So Prabhupada said, when you're hungry, do you mentally eat or do you physically eat? She said, physically. Prabhupada said, no, you should start eating mentally. So she realized, and Prabhupada told her, if you want to chant the holy name, you should chant it and hear, not just mentally go on chanting. That is as good as no chanting. So this lady was convinced that what Prabhupada said was right. So Prabhupada emphasized that we should chant the holy name and hear the holy name. And as the scriptures say, the more attentive we are in chanting, the greater will be the effect, and the faster will be the cleansing of the heart. Prabhupada came to India with his Western disciples, I believe in 1971 or something. Anyway, they created a big stir. Prabhupada held festivals in major cities of India. And these festivals were attended by over 30,000 people. So taking advantage of the popularity of the Hare Krishna movement, one leading movie star in India made a movie called Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. The movie was a big hit in India. It was a super hit. The positive thing in the movie was the Hare Krishna mantra was being played in the background in the whole movie. And they had a song which had the Hare Krishna mantra. But the weak point in the movie was it showed that devotees take drugs, then they feel high, and then they chant Hare Krishna. So this movie was released in India in 1973. So at that time I was residing in America, but I had just come to India for a holiday. So I met Prabhupada in Akash Ganga, and I told him, Srila Prabhupada, this movie is going to give our movement a bad name. Our movement was brand new in India at that time. And I said, this movie is showing that we chant Hare Krishna and people take drugs, so that will spoil our image. Prabhupada was totally undisturbed. He said, nothing will be lost. People will hear the Hare Krishna mantra and get purified. Don't worry. And very interestingly, about 3 years ago, I initiated a devotee in America, and I asked him, how did he join the movement? So he told me when he was a young kid, there was a movie release called Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. And he heard the Hare Krishna mantra in that movie. And after that, he fell in love with this mantra. And he would go everywhere where he could hear this song that was a big hit. But that movie planted the seed of Krishna consciousness in his heart. And 25 years later, or 35 years later, he got initiated. So what Prabhupada said was right. People will hear the holy name and benefit. Prabhupada is always right. We should know that. Before I came, there was almost no book production in India. So Prabhupada told me to start the book production. And Prabhupada was very keen that we publish a lot of books. At that time, we were just beginning to publish books. So in 1976, I believe 77, I had arranged a very big book display of Prabhupada books in a very big book house called International Book House. This was a very big book house, and they were distributing Time and Reader's Digest. And the owner was a life member, and I was cultivating him. So I arranged a very big display in his store. We had Prabhupada books on display, we had all the promotion material, and we ran this promotion for 1 month. But after 1 month, not many books were sold. So I went to Prabhupada to give him a report that even though we had a very heavy promotion, prominent display in the windows, etc., we didn't sell a lot of books. And Prabhupada said, my books are sold because of the enthusiasm of my disciples. And in a store, nobody's enthusiastic. That's why. So we have seen that when devotees are enthusiastic, they achieve outstanding results. Doesn't matter what the service is, especially book distribution. And if we're not enthusiastic, if we do something half-heartedly, then the results are not the same. So Prabhupada repeated that twice or thrice. My books are sold because of the enthusiasm of my devotees. So I usually try and tell this story to some Kirtan devotees, and they all testify that when they're enthusiastic, they achieve very good results. So I went there in '76. We took Prabhupada's books. We showed them to scholars in Moscow and Leningrad. At that time, St. Petersburg was called Leningrad. And they appreciated the books. And then we went there again in '77. When I went there in '77, the late Prithu Putra Maharaj was there, also in Bhugarba. So we took part in the book fair. It was a very big book fair. And in the end, we got a certificate from the Soviet government appreciating Prabhupada's books for bringing world peace. So I received the certificate in Bombay around September '77. I took it to Prabhupada, who was in Vrindavan. His health wasn't so good. Prabhupada was so happy with that certificate that Soviet government has recognized Prabhupada's books as contributing to world peace. That Prabhupada showed that certificate to everyone who came. His godbrothers would come, he would say, this is the recognition we got from Soviet Union. Unfortunately, we lost that certificate somewhere. I feel really sorry. But Prabhupada very much appreciated that the Soviet government was appreciating our books. One of the big problems in those days was visas for Americans. At that time, we virtually had no Indian devotees. Some were beginning to join, and 99% of our devotees were American. And they were all having visa problems. Constantly, they had to go out of the country and come back. So this was a great source of anxiety to Prabhupada. And he personally met and deputed me to meet people to try and get the Indian government to give us some concession. So I went and saw the Home Minister, the Foreign Minister of India at that time, who was Mr. Vajpayee. And I went to Vajpayee with a plea that some concession be given to ISKCON devotees. And when I came back to Vrindavan that evening and gave Prabhupada the report of the meeting, Prabhupada said, one day this man will become more important. He'll hold a very important position. And a few years later, he became the Prime Minister of India. Prabhupada was very concerned that we don't give away free books. We had a program in the Home Minister of India's house. Prabhupada personally came and gave the lecture. And after the lecture, I gave the Home Minister secretary many books, more than I should have. So some devotee told Prabhupada that I gave about 10, 12 books free. And next day Prabhupada was very, very upset. He said, you shouldn't give away these books like this. We should be very careful. In other words, Prabhupada didn't want us to freely give out books. I mean, he wanted these books to be respected. Sometimes when you give free, people don't value it so much. So I learned my lesson at that time. And I've been telling devotees, we should be very cautious how we give these free books. One day at 1 o'clock in the night, Prabhupada called for me. Prabhupada would often call for his secretaries and GBCs, even in the middle of the night, because Prabhupada would be busy serving Krishna 24 hours. It's not that he went to sleep. He would get up at 10:30 in the night and started translation work. So Prabhupada had written an ad. The ad was said in brief, open invitation from ISKCON to all of India. And the invitation was, Prabhupada said, India is a poor country. I will feed everyone. So he wrote an ad on the paper with his own handwriting. Open invitation, come and live with us, like us. And Prabhupada said, go tomorrow to all the newspapers, tell them to put this in the papers, and put billboards that ISKCON is inviting everyone to come and live with us, like us. So I asked Prabhupada, we don't have the means to do that. Where are we going to feed everyone and accommodate everyone? And Prabhupada said, come and live with us, like us. Like us means they have to follow our principles, chant Hare Krishna. And if they're ready to do that, then I will maintain all of them. Not that they could do their nonsense and we will maintain. So Prabhupada was very intelligent. He said, open invitation, come and live with us, like us. We were getting ready for the Kumbh Mela, and I think it was 77 or 76. It was a big Kumbh Mela. And we were thinking of publishing cheap books for mass distribution. So I think we published a small book. But many people were suggesting we print the Bhagavad Gita like Gita Press has without any purports. And they said, we'll sell lakhs. So I thought it was a good idea. And being the BVD manager, I went to Prabhupada and said, everyone is saying we can print the Gita like Gita Press without purports and we'll distribute lakhs. Prabhupada said, no, you can't print any book without purports. And he said, this is not acceptable. So the point is, Prabhupada's purports make us understand the books better. And without Prabhupada's purports, we are free to make our own interpretation. And Prabhupada was very keen that people understand this knowledge as it is. So I've told this to BBD managers all over the world. So before the Prabhupada's departure in Bombay, I was discussing with Prabhupada how are we going to manage the Bombay temple. And Prabhupada said, make a council and have decisions made in the council. And Prabhupada said there's a Bengali saying that if you make a decision in a group and something goes wrong, you can always say, I didn't make it alone. Everybody was a party to the decision. And if you do it on your own and something goes wrong, you take the blame. So Prabhupada wanted a small council to be involved in decision making. Prabhupada was very particular about cleanliness. So one day he was sitting in the front room and he just asked me, how is everything? And I said, okay. And then he looked up at the nest, looked up at the ceiling, and then he saw there was a nest in that small room with a bird or two inside. He said, you say everything's okay? This is okay? Okay, let's do it. Prabhupada had very, very sharp eyes. As some of you may know, Prabhupada would be translating books in the night. So one day he got up and he saw that the watchman wasn't there. The watchman at the front gate, at the gate in front of the guest house, wasn't there. So Prabhupada was very concerned. So he thought of a good plan. He told the watchman, every hour equal to the time, you have to ring the bell. And Prabhupada's logic was, if the watchman has to ring the bell every hour, he won't go to sleep. So that was the background that led to the introduction of the watchman ringing the bell every hour. Prabhupada was an expert manager. He knew how to solve all problems. To attract donations, we have to give the donor some tax benefit. And we were having trouble in maintaining our tax-exempt status. So many professional lawyers and chartered accountants suggested, why don't you set up a research institute? And if you set up a research institute, the government will give you 100% tax exemption. So we came up with a plan that we'll have a research institute called Vedic Research Institute. So when the Prabhupada said, this plan could attract a lot of donations, and if we can establish a Vedic Research Institute. And Prabhupada said, why Vedic Research Institute? Vyasadeva has done all the research. We don't need to do any further research. And there's no need of Vedic Research Institute. So Prabhupada was not interested that it will attract more donations. Prabhupada wanted to preserve the purity, and he was concerned that under the banner of Vedic research, we may speculate, whereas he has given us the real philosophy in his purports to the books that he published.
Although naturally we were, sad to receive the news, but in
Prabhupada was in his room doing his japa when some guests came in and they started knocking at the door saying they want to see Prabhupada. The secretary said Prabhupada is taking rest. But Prabhupada overheard some people want to see him, and they were disappointed that they couldn't see him. So Prabhupada was so concerned that he told his secretary, let them come in, open the door. And Prabhupada sat for 2-3 hours and preached to the guests. So but this just shows how Prabhupada was always concerned about preaching. And even when he wasn't physically well, he did not stop his preaching. And as we know, in Vrindavan, even in his last few months on the planet, when he wasn't physically well, he did not stop his translation work. He would go on with his translation. He had Padumna read the Sanskrit. He had somebody helping him sit down. He was virtually whispering the purports. But he did that because he wanted to save humanity. He wanted to leave behind scriptures that could save humanity. So we should also cultivate a similar mood. As far as I can see, Prabhupada was a Vaikuntha man. Once Prabhupada was asked to speak about his spiritual master, and Prabhupada said, what can I speak? He was a Vaikuntha man. So Prabhupada was also a Vaikuntha man. In my opinion, he possessed all the 26 qualities. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had predicted The holy name will be chanted in every town and village of the world. And I have no doubt that Prabhupada appeared to fulfill this realization, this prediction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Prabhupada was an empowered preacher, and one great Acharya, one great Vaishnava said he was a Shakta Vaishavatar, but he was an empowered preacher who was sent by Lord Chaitanya to take the holy name to every corner of the globe. And today we see that Prabhupada's glories are increasing even faster. You can go to any corner of the globe, people have heard of Prabhupada. In fact, many people come to the temple and say, when is Swamiji going to speak? In fact, many people write and say, where's the author of these books? And Prabhupada's fame is all over the world. And as we preach and spread the movement, his fame will increase more and more. We have to understand that everything we need to know is there in Prabhupada's books. Have faith in the books. Have faith in Prabhupada's instructions. Follow the GBC body. And we will be able to cross over insurmountable problems. But we need to be determined to follow Prabhupada's path. Not that we say, yes, I'm a Prabhupada Nuga, and do my
Je anilo premadana koruna prachu.
तो मैं बोला कि मेरा पिताजी ने जगन्नाथ नाम दिया, मैं चाहता हूँ जगन्नाथपुरी रथ यात्रा के दिन में ज्वाइन करूँ। तो ब्रजय वो बोल रहे, तुम कल एक सुंदर लड़की देखेगा तो बोलेगा मेरे को शादी करना है। तो मैं माइंड को समझाया, बोले भगवान डायरेक्ट बात नहीं करते, लेकिन उनका भक्तों का माध्यम से मैसेज देते। तो मैं 2007 को ज्वाइन किया और भक्त ट्रेनिंग लिया 6 महीना। तो महाराज आते थे, पूछते थे आप कैसे हो, अपना बच्चा जैसे। क्योंकि वो इंग्लिश में बोलते हैं कि स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर माई सेल्फ, कृष्ण बोल रहे 11 कैंटो 17 चैप्टर 27 श्लोक। स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर माई सेल्फ 33 डेमीगॉड्स का रिप्रेजेंट, नॉट ऑर्डिनरी पर्सन, और उनको एनवियस नहीं होना चाहिए। तो गीता में लिखा है कि गुरु कृष्ण प्रति इसका श्रद्धा है, प्रेम है, विश्वास है, तो सारा वैदिक नॉलेज स्वतः प्रकाशित होगा। हमको ज़्यादा श्लोक याद करना, गीता पढ़ना, ये पढ़ना, ज़्यादा याद रखूँगा, ज़्यादा ज्ञानी बनना कोई जरूरत नहीं। जो लिखा है, कृष्ण जो कहा वही बोलो। तो प्रभुपाद जी बोलते प्रीचिंग मीन्स माई बुक डिस्क्रिप्शन। तो गुरु महाराज हमेशा प्रीचिंग कर रहे, प्रचार कर रहे। तो जैसे अभी हम आप लेक्चर सुन रहे थे, प्रभु जी नाथम प्रभु दिखा रहे थे, तो गुरु का धर्म है कृष्ण का बारे में ग्लोरिफिकेशन करना, और शिष्य का धर्म है गुरु से सुनना। क्योंकि मैं जब 2007 में प्रभुपाद क्वार्टर में लेक्चर हो रहा, मैं सुन रहा था, निभक्त में था, तो प्रभुपाद जी बोले कि हमारा स्पिरिचुअल बॉडी है, लेकिन स्पिरिचुअल बॉडी का ये जो कवर पड़ा है, मिट्टी, जल, अग्नि, वायु, पंच तत्व और अंदर से मन बुद्धि सूक्ष्म सूत्र, ये कैसे छूटेगा। तो प्रभुपाद जी बोल रहे कि भगवान ने हमको 2 कान दिया है, भगवान जैसे मैंगो पक जाता है तो नीचे ऑटोमेटिक गिर जाता है। तो उसी प्रभुपाद जी बोले कि लाइफ इज प्रिपरेशन, हमको प्रिपरेशन करना चाहिए जाने के लिए भगवान के पास, रहने के लिए प्लानिंग नहीं। तो गुरु महाराज ने प्रैक्टिकल आचरण के सिखाए, अहंकार नहीं, घमंड नहीं, पोस्ट पोजिशन नहीं, पूरा डिटैचमेंट, हमेशा दूसरे को रेस्पेक्ट देते। चैतन्य का जो श्लोक 8 श्लोक है, महाप्रभु प्रैक्टिकल किए। और हमको गुरु महाराज का बात यदि खुशी करना चाहते हैं, गुरु महाराज का बात को सुनना चाहिए, क्योंकि गुरु महाराज का जो सीनियर डिसाइपल है उनको ज़्यादा मालूम है गुरु महाराज के बारे में, तो उनसे सुनना चाहिए। तो हमारा धीरे धीरे शुद्ध होगा गुरुदेव। और यदि ये लाइफ में यदि भगवत धाम नहीं जा पाएंगे तो नेक्स्ट जन्म में फिर हमको प्रोमोशन मिलेगा। क्योंकि प्रभुपाद जी बोले कि 10,000 साल तक ISKCON मूवमेंट चलेगा, लेकिन हमको 10 साल तो इंतजार नहीं करना है, ये लाइफ में बहुत ध्यान से सुनना चाहिए। जैसे गुरु महाराज बोल रहे थे, ध्यान से हम सुन रहे हैं। तो गुरु महाराज शिष्यों का हृदय में बैठे हैं, क्योंकि गुरु महाराज ने कहा कि गुरु सदैव शिष्यों को याद रखते हैं। शिष्यों को क्या याद है, गुरु महाराज ने क्या कहा। तो गुरु जो है भगवान का प्रतिनिधि है, और गुरु महाराज जो बोल रहे, प्रभुपाद जो बोले वही बोल रहे। और प्रभुपाद बोनाफाइड स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर है, 10,000 साल तक उनका ज्ञान चलेगा। तो हमको ये लाइफ में ही भगवान को पहचाना है। ऐसा नहीं कि गुरु महाराज चला गए, अभी हम कैसे रहेंगे, हम दुखी हो रहे, रोना भी आता है। क्योंकि गुरु महाराज एक भक्त था, चतुर्भुज को दांत लगाए तो खाली, तो उनको ऑपरेशन करके निकाले। तो ब्रजेश को उनको बोले कि आप जाओ मिल कर आओ। तो महाराज गए थे। तो महाराज बोले कि चतुर्भुज प्रभु, ये जो शरीर मिला है दुख कष्ट झेलने के लिए, सुख शांति के लिए नहीं मिला है। हम बहुत प्लानिंग करते हैं सुख शांति। तो प्रभुपाद जी बोले सुख शांति चाहते हो, स्पिरिचुअल में आ जाओ, आप उधर मिले। तो हमारा भक्त लोग आचरण को सिखाते हैं। हम भक्ति करना है किसको दिखाने के लिए नहीं, हमारे भगवान के साथ रिलेशन है 24 आवर। कैसे? भगवान हमारे हृदय में बैठे परमात्मा रूप में, देखने का शक्ति, सुनने का शक्ति, बोलने का शक्ति, चलने से भगवान से आ रहे हैं। हम कुछ कर रहे हैं, प्रभु जी देख रहे कि मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ। लेकिन कृष्ण 24 आवर देख रहे हम क्या कर रहे हैं, वो रिपोर्ट है। प्रभुपाद जी बोले हम दूसरे को चीटिंग कर सकते, कृष्ण को चीटिंग नहीं कर सकते। प्रभुपाद जी लिखे चीटर टेकिंग प्ले टीचर। आजकल जो टीचर है बाहर लोग सही नहीं बताते, वो चीटिंग करते। लेकिन प्रभुपाद जी किसको चीटिंग नहीं करते, गुरु महाराज किसको चीटिंग नहीं करते। इसका जो भी भक्त जुड़ा कोई चीटिंग नहीं करेगा। क्योंकि बोलते हैं कि जो बाघ होता है, शेर होता है, वो मांस खाता है, कभी घास नहीं खाएगा। तो जिसको सच पता चल गया, कभी झूठ नहीं बोलेगा, कभी झूठ रास्ता में जाएगा नहीं। कितना भी उनको समझाओ नहीं समझेगा। अभी आप सब लोग ISKCON में जुड़े, भक्ति कर रहे, कभी भी आप कृष्ण से अलग नहीं हो सकते। जैसे पुलिस भक्ति से हमारे बोल रहे, जैसे पुलिस चोर को पकड़ लेते हैं तो अरेस्ट कर लेते हैं, तब चोर भाग नहीं सकता है। अभी सबको हमको कृष्ण पकड़ ली, रास भी आए, हम भाग नहीं सकते। अभी तो सब लोग बोलने वाले हैं, इसलिए मैं डिस्टर्ब नहीं करना चाहता हूँ। और गुरु महाराज को खुश करना चाहते हैं, जैसे नरोत्तम प्रभु, सीताराम प्रभु, सत्यनारायण प्रभु, सीनियर डिवोट लोग, माधव प्रभु, जितना भी है, वो लोग चाहते हैं गुरु महाराज को खुश करने के लिए। तो आप कोऑपरेट करो। प्रभुपाद जी बोले कि दूसरे कोऑपरेट करो, मदद करो, जितना चाहे शक्ति उतना। और प्रभुपाद जी जितना ISKCON मंदिर बनाए, सब गृहस्थ डिवोट लोग मेहनत कर रहे, पैसा दे रहे, तो मंदिर चल रहा है। ब्रह्मचारी कोई घर से लेकर नहीं है। तो जैसे पहले घर बनाते थे तो जमीन खुदाई करते तो पत्थर डालते थे, पत्थर का ऊपर ईंट डाल के घर बना, आजकल पिलर हो गए। तो उसी प्रकार गृहस्थ भक्त जो है ISKCON का पिलर जैसे। इसलिए प्रभुपाद जी लिखे, पढ़ा था भागवत कि कृष्ण भगवान गृहस्थ भक्त को अभय पद प्रदान करते हैं, प्रभुपाद जी लिखे। तो हमको बहुत भक्त हमेशा नम्रता होता है, हम्बल, और भक्ति करते रहते, प्रयास करते रहते। इसलिए हमको हम्बल होना चाहिए। और हमारा खुद का भक्ति हम खुद करना है, मेरे लिए आप नहीं कर सकते, आपके लोग नहीं कर सकते। जैसे रासलीला हुआ था कृष्ण और गोपी, तो भगवान से वो नाचते हैं, तो रासलीला में भाग लेना, जैसे भक्ति गौरनारायण बता रहे थे निभक्त क्लास में। और हमारा अंदर बैठे हैं परमात्मा भगवान कृष्ण, हमारे साथ है, गुरु भी हमारा साथ है, क्योंकि स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर माई सेल्फ कृष्ण बोल रहे। तो गुरु महाराज अभी आपका प्रेम है, इसलिए गुरु महाराज यहाँ पर बैठ कर डिवाइन बॉडी, उनका दिव्य शरीर, तो गुरु महाराज यहाँ पर प्रकट होकर सबको बताए। गुरु महाराज यहाँ पर आते, लेक्चर देते, सबको आप सुनते। उसी प्रकार गुरु महाराज डिवाइन बॉडी में यहाँ पर रहकर आपको सबको बताए। प्रभुपाद जी बोले कि एक्चुअली ऑल मटेरियल स्पिरिचुअल, और प्रभुपाद जी बोले कि रेबतदास से हायर सेंस मैटर स्पिरिट नो डिफरेंस। लेकिन प्रभुपाद जी किसी से ये आर्गुमेंट नहीं करने का पब्लिक से। रासबेरी स्टोन नहीं है, मार्बल स्टोन नहीं, स्वयं भगवान है। हम भगवान को जान सकते हैं डिवोशनल सर्विस, सेवा का माध्यम से। इसलिए हम बहुत भाग्यवान है, अनंत कोटि ब्रह्मांड भ्रमण करते करते आया है। और दुख कष्ट हमको तो एक प्रभुपाद जी का एक बुक है द साइंस ऑफ सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन, एक बुक है, पढ़ सकते हैं। तो हम अभी देख रहे प्रैक्टिकल द साइंस ऑफ मेटेरियल रियलाइजेशन हम कर रहे हैं। इसलिए हमको हमारा जो प्रॉब्लम है, जन्म लेना, बीमारी, बुढ़ापा, मृत्यु, ये प्रॉब्लम है, ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करना चाहिए, लाइफ को प्रिपरेशन करना चाहिए। हरे कृष्ण।
So I would also just like to share some things of Guru Maharaj. I had the good fortune of first meeting Maharaj in January of 2008, during Jhu Rath Yatra. And the first time I heard from Maharaj was during Gaur Purnima 2008. That was thanks to Sitaram Prabhu. And actually I remember very clearly that whole day we were discussing various things, and Sitaram Prabhu was really glorifying Maharaj. And I had no clue who this personality was, and Sitaram Prabhu was glorifying him. Then I had heard from Radhesham Prabhu till then. So I was, you have that, of course, this is not the right analogy, but you have, I was trying to ask him that, so is this Gopal Krishna Maharaj like Radhesham Prabhu? And Sitaram was laughing and he said, oh, hundreds of Radhesham Prabhus are under Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Then the first some menial service I could do was actually here in Chakra Hall, the hall next here. So if you saw the video, Maharaj said that the first time he met Prabhupada was on Memorial Day weekend in 1967. So it was that same day, 27th May and 1st June. And so it happened to be a Sunday, and so Maharaj was giving the IYF class in the evening. So, Arunodaya, Aradhana. So Vijay Madhav Prabhu told me कि आज Maharaj class देंगे. So then I just spot, because the standard of the IYF garland used to be वो जो सबसे सस्ता garland बाहर मिलता है वो खरीद के लेके आओ, speaker को पहनाओ वो. So then I was seeing for the last 4-5 months कि ये लोग तो जो भी speaker आता है उसको वो garland देते हैं. So I told Vijay Madhav Prabhu, so if Maharaj is coming, can I get on garland? So he said, हाँ जाओ लेके आओ. So I went outside, opposite Mukteshwar, that garland shop is there. And so then I told that lady कि rose का garland कितने का बनेगा? I said बनाओ. So then she made this huge rose garland, full red roses, and then I brought it. And then I think Kuldeep Prabhu, he offered it to Maharaj. And then he made this announcement that today is this was 2008. So yeah, he said today is the 40th anniversary of Gopal Krishna Maharaj meeting Prabhupada. And Maharaj was very happy. And then after the class, Vijay Madhav Prabhu took me and said, Maharaj, this Neil has sponsored this garland that you're wearing. Maharaj was, then he offered his blessings. Then, so like that whole year went, and whenever Maharaj would see a person, he used to smile and he used to inquire, how are you? In fact, I saw one WhatsApp forward with Maharaj's photo just 2-3 days back. And ऊपर लगा था आप कैसे हैं? वो जा रहा था कि अभी वो क्वेश्चन कोई पूछने नहीं वाला है फिजिकली, ये पोस्टर देख के पूछते रहो, सोचते रहो महाराज के बारे में कि कैसे वो पूछते थे. रेगुलरली आस्क हाउ आर यू डूइंग, आप कैसे हैं, ठीक हो, lines of his. So that whole year he used to ask like this, and I also used to in my illusion feel यार महाराज मेरे को recognize कर रहे हैं, महाराज को पता है मैं कौन हूँ, not knowing that I'm just a fig, mustard seed. So then it so happened that in December I got very busy with my work in the bank, and then Rath Yatra was there again in January 2009, Rath Yatra. So for I think that whole week I couldn't shave, and for more than a couple of months I couldn't cut my hair. So then on Rath Yatra day I showed up there in t-shirt, in jeans, and with a little bit of a 1 week old beard and little long hair. And Maharaj was entering into that वो लोखंडवाला में होता था ना celebration club के opposite वो gutter के ऊपर और ground था. And Maharaj was entering, and I thought, chalo, that whole December month, I didn't even come to the temple. I was so busy. Maharaj मिलेंगे 1-1.5 महीने बाद. Maharaj पूछेंगे आप क्या, how are you? ऐसे कुछ pat करेंगे. And in my illusion, I'm thinking Maharaj will ask, I didn't see you, and all. And Maharaj just saw me for 1 second and just fully ignored me and just started walking. And so I thought maybe इतना बड़ा crowd है तो होगा, तो I went little ahead and went again, and he looked the other way. And then after some time, he was holding some book and he wanted to give it कि मैं ऊपर जा रहा हूँ stage पे. So I held my hand out, and he just first he didn't look that direction, then he didn't look this direction, and he ignored me again, and he gave it to somebody else. And his servant from behind was laughing. Then he told me कि Maharaj doesn't like, when you're not shaven, when your hair is wild and all these things. So don't come in front of Maharaj like that. That was one thing. Then in 2011, then of course for 6-8 months I was completely off from Krishna consciousness, not accepting any devotees' phone calls. That time we didn't have WhatsApp to block anyone, but not answering anyone's phones and all. Then Sitaram Prabhu kept persisting and came back by his mercy. And then I took to Krishna consciousness a little more seriously. So one day Sitaram Prabhu spoke to me, because then whenever Maharaj used to come, I used to sit in the front row of the class and listen very nicely. Whenever Maharaj would go for walks, would go with him. So he asked me, by any chance, are you looking forward to getting initiated from Maharaj? I said, yes. So then he took me to Maharaj's room and told Maharaj, this Neil wants to aspire from you. So then Maharaj graciously accepted, and from that day, started chanting Maharaj's pranam mantra. This Maharaj's morning schedule is legendary, as all of you know. Maharaj would sometimes come back from Mira Road or from Khargar at midnight after having preaching programs there and whole day of service, then preaching programs at night, and stuck in Mumbai traffic. He used to come to Hare Krishna land sometimes at midnight, and still he used to be up. And at 4:30, when the altar used to open, you would see Gopal Krishna Maharaj and Radha Rasbihari's altar. And then after that, he would, when he was in good health, this was still like 2015-16. After Tulsi Puja, you would see Maharaj come out during Tulsi Puja. And Maharaj would offer water to Tulsi Maharani, and then Maharaj would go and sit between the altars of Radha Rasbihari and Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman. In between, there's this hundi. Just in front of that hundi, Maharaj would come and sit. So then after the Vaishnava Pranam, all of us would go, and for the whole temple, would go and first offer obeisances to Maharaj, and then offer obeisances to Prabhupada, and then sit and chant. And so everyone would, just hope that Maharaj will look at you and maybe say, how are you? Or smile at you and all that. And then that would become like enthusiasm for good chanting that day. So many times then, whenever Maharaj would be in Jew, he would sit. And then till 6 o'clock, he would sit and chant there. He would first chant his Gayatri, and then he would chant few rounds. And around 6:15, Maharaj would get up. And then Maharaj would go to his room, wear his sneakers, and then go for his japa walk. And Maharaj's japa walk was such that time I was 24, 25, 26, that age. After 2 rounds, we would struggle to catch up with Maharaj. Maharaj used to walk so fast. So after it was like a given. Most of the devotees, after 2-3 rounds, they would just stop walking with Maharaj. Thak gaye. And Maharaj would just go on till 7:10. And then at 7:10, if he wants to walk further, he would look at everyone and say, Jao, Prabhupada ke Guru Puja mein jao. And then he would continue walking. Otherwise, he would also go to his room, remove his sneakers, and then come down for Guru Puja. And many of the times, he would lead Guru Puja. He would be singing. And then if he had to give class, he would give class. So, once, the first time when we met Maharaj in the Dham, this was after joining. So whenever we would meet Maharaj in the Dham, initially whenever we would meet Maharaj in the Dham, before joining, he would say, "So do you like Vrindavan? Do you like Mayapur? It is so nice, isn't it? You should keep coming." That kind of encouragement. After joining, whenever we would meet Maharaj in the Dham, the first question he would ask is, even before we could, let's say, before Prabhupada got up, after offering obeisances to Bhaktivedanta told him, no, that go and preach. So in the Dham, whenever we would meet Maharaj, before we would get up from from offering obeisance, he would say, "Bombay wapas kab ja rahe ho? When are you going back to Mumbai?" Because he wanted that now that you have been given responsible service, you should do it nicely. Dham and all will always be there, but you need to be in Bombay. So after a while, we got into the habit. We would offer obeisance, and first thing before getting up, "Maharaj, I'm here for 2 days. I'm going back in 2 days." Or that, "Maharaj, we've got a group of 70 congregation devotees. We are here on yatra. Once in a year we come, and we are going back in at this date." And then he would smile and say, "Okay, very good." Then I remember my father passed away in Delhi in 2012 January, and Maharaj was in Delhi. And whenever devotees ask me this question, someone has passed away, Sutak hai, this, that. I remember my father passed away, I performed his last rites, and then I went straight to the temple after, of course, bathing, changing and all. And that day I went to the Punjabi Bagh temple, and Maharaj was giving the evening class. So I sat for the class, and then so many devotees, I didn't go in front. And then around 10 days later, when Maharaj came to Juhu, "Maharaj, I attended your class in Punjabi Bagh that day. It was so nice." And I told him a couple of things that he spoke. "Oh, really? You were in Delhi? What were you doing there?" So I told him my father passed away. "Oh, you didn't tell me." I said, "Maharaj, you were giving class. I really didn't want to trouble you. There were so many devotees surrounding you. Oh, you should have come to me. You should have spoken to me." And he hugged me. And he said, "Are you doing okay?" And very fatherly figure. And then couple of months after that, I, thanks to Sitaram Prabhu's inspiration / push / pressure / whatever you want to say, it's all good now. But I quit my job and I joined full time. And so just a month after that, our initiation was there. So our initiation is also a funny story. It was for 8 months our initiation was supposed to happen. Our initiation got cancelled 4 or 5 times. It's like the story of Srinivas Acharya. Whenever he would go for initiation, that it would never materialize. And then in the end, he thought, it's better I leave my body because no Vaishnava is accepting me. So I remember once initiation was supposed to happen here 2 days before it got cancelled. And after a couple of months, Sitaram Prabhu said, "Maharaj, Ahmedabad mein initiation dene aap sab jao udhar." We booked our tickets also to Ahmedabad 1 day before. Maharaj ne mana kar diya. Initiation got cancelled. Like that 3-4 times initiation got cancelled. So finally, then Maharaj, what he did was, he, being the merciful personality that he is, he arranged a separate initiation just for us in the temple hall. So our initiation was only 7 devotees: Nitai Madhav Prabhu, Hari Kirtan Prabhu, Sanatan Prabhu, then Advaita Chaitanya, Damodar, and me. 6 of us got initiated. So it was like a very intimate initiation in the temple hall. And what Maharaj did, this is Maharaj's magnanimity. Like, we are like mustard seed disciples of his compared to the great things that great disciples have done. It's like Maharaj has so many Hanuman-like disciples, and we are like the tiny squirrel. What Maharaj did was he introduced each and every one of us during the initiation. So, like, now when you come, your name is announced and you come, and then beads are given and your name is given. So that time Maharaj was calling 6 of us. So Maharaj would call this person, and then Maharaj would introduce his own future disciples to be in 1 minute. He was introducing them on the mic to the whole audience. So although I had quit my job, but I never told my mother or anyone in my family. So I would come to the temple in office attire with leather shoes, and then I would remove everything, wear dhoti kurta in the office, and then whole day be here, and then again wear those clothes and go back home. And I did that for a couple of months without telling anyone that I have quit. So then when Maharaj, my turn came, so Maharaj introduced, "This is Neil." And and my mother and my aunt, they were all sitting in the audience during initiation. And Maharaj, "This is Neil. He used to work for Citibank, and now he's quit his job and he's joined the temple. and something like that he said. And that's when my family came to know that I've quit my job and everything. So actually Maharaj told them. And then of course it came from Maharaj and all, they were all happy. So after the initiation, then with your Harinam Chadar you go to ask for Bhiksha. So I went and there my aunt from Pune was standing there with some notes in her hand and said, Chhod diya. So then that was Maharaj broke the news to my family that I quit and joined. Later on I told Maharaj and Maharaj was laughing. So then although I had quit and I had joined, Maharaj was very, very concerned. He would always ask, how are you going to manage the finances? Are you going to be okay? And then I was like, yes, Maharaj, it's fine, it's fine. And then one day he just, if you need any help, let me know. You come to me. Then we had, once we had now this is into management, then we did, of course, he would, at that time, except for between June to August, Maharaj used to be in America and Canada and Kenya at that time, and Russia. Apart from that, rest of the whole 9 months, Maharaj used to be in India. So at that time, almost every month, Maharaj would visit Juhu. And so we used to regularly meet Maharaj. Maharaj would regularly interact in class. So then finally, this gift shop service came. So when Maharaj came to know that we are serving in the gift shop, so once after evening, he came for evening darshan, and then he came out and said, "Come, let's go to your shop." Following Maharaj, Maharaj is going. This is before we renovated. I was seeing something, and Maharaj asked for something. He asked me, "Is your shop sufficiently stocked?" Yes, Maharaj, sufficient. Sab hai stock. And then he went there and he asked the one thing we didn't have. Ye hai kya? Cashier, whoever the salesman is. And then he's looking at me and he's, with that look which says, don't think that you're a great manager, you don't know what you're doing. And with that look, with tiny smile, and then he just walked off. And those guys are searching and understanding there. That one thing which we didn't have, he asked for. Then he, in spite of the services, he would always encourage us to preach. So he would say, fine, you perform the services, but don't give up preaching. Preaching should be the main thing. Don't neglect preaching. Preaching should go on. And he would ask about what's happening with the youth preaching. He would ask Nitai Madhav Prabhu. He used to ask me what's happening with the congregation preaching. Many of you must be having memories of Maharaj giving class here in this hall. Several times Maharaj has given class to our group. Even in Prabhupada quarters, Maharaj gave class. So once there was some managerial dispute, and so I had written one email about one manager here, and it was marked to Maharaj also. And then a week later, Maharaj visited Juhu. Then Maharaj called me into his room. He said, "I read your email. I agree with your points, but you could have been humble. You were very arrogant in the email. You should have been humble." So then I was telling Maharaj, and Maharaj said, "Anyway, that devotee is very detached. That devotee is detached. So you should not worry so much." So I said, "Maharaj, the problem is that devotee is too detached. And because he's too detached, he's not taking proper decisions. And that's why, this problems are happening." So then Maharaj, when he heard that devotee is too detached, he started laughing. And he said, "Yes, I agree with you. He's too detached." And then, he threw his head back and laughing for 20 seconds. And then the whole mood changed and the topic changed. Then when we renovated the new gift shop, so Maharaj was there. It was the day before Rath Yatra. And so we had this nice, all the shutters were down. The renovated gift shop was inside, all the shutters were down. And we arranged this nice ribbon. And we were waiting, Maharaj came. Everyone was there. The Rajari Prabhu, Devkinandan Prabhu, all of them. And we gave Maharaj the scissors. Maharaj cut the ribbon. And then we opened the shutters. And Maharaj entered. He was the first one to enter. And Maharaj always liked everything to be pakka. So in the service of Prabhupada, he wanted everything to be first class. He wanted money to be preserved, but he wanted everything to be first class. So I clearly remember, and there are photos also I saw today. As soon as Maharaj entered the gift shop, his eyes opened wide, and he said, "Wow!" And he was very, very happy. And then he went to each counter and he appreciated it. Of course, he would never appreciate you on your face, but you would come to know by others. So after that, for around a year, different devotees from different temples would call and say, महाराज ने बोला आप लोग का गिफ्ट शॉप बहुत अच्छा है, थोड़ा बताइए कैसे किया, फोटो भेजिए, हमको भी करना है. Same with bakery. He used to like our couple of things. So then used to get calls from Delhi, महाराज बोल रहे कुकी जू का अच्छा है, बताइए कैसे करना है. And also, to me, he never ever said, that anything that you're doing is good, but others used to come to know. Yagyapati Swami is there. He helped a lot with the gift shop designs and all. Then in 2014, we had stayed for 3 weeks in Mayapur. Nitai Madhav Prabhu, me, Chaitanya Avatar Prabhu, all of us. We were 18 devotees in one room. And at that time, Maharaj was also there for the whole 3 weeks. So he was very happy when he came to know that, we are there for studying. We were learning from Madhur Krishna Prabhu. We did TTC and all those things. So he would meet us daily and he would be very happy. And then Nitai Madhav Prabhu, what he started doing is he started serving Charnamrit in Panchtattva Hall. And then Maharaj would do the arti and come down, and then he would see Nitai Madhav, and then after 2-3 days he appreciated him. He said that, very nice, you're doing some menial service. I'm very happy, Lord Chaitanya will be pleased. Then we got involved with the Bhadra Purnima. Bhadra Purnima just started 2016. So 17 was the second year. 18 was like a big Bhadra Purnima, and the temple had given me the service of coordinating the whole Bhadra Purnima thing. So I used to interact with Maharaj also. Maharaj had sent his videos. When Maharaj was here, we requested him. So one Preeti Vardhanam lecture, Maharaj gave the class talking about Bhagavatam book, Bhagavatam distribution. And so then that year in the Bhadra Purnima, ISKCON Jew distributed around 700 sets. So His Holiness Bhakti Priyad Bhagavat Swami, he was the co-president at that time. So he wrote one email marking Maharaj and marking Bhima Prabhu and Devkinanda Prabhu and some HODs of the temple and appreciating me. So he wrote, I would like to thank Narottam Priya for coordinating the Bhadra Purnima. It was a very nice thing. So I replied to the email thanking all the devotees who participated in Bhadra Purnima. Everyone who helped with arranging Bhadra Purnima. So everyone's name I wrote and what they did. And I replied like that, thanking everyone, including Bhima Prabhu, Maharaj, even the Sankirtan devotees, all of them. I wrote some 10 points. And then a reply came from Maharaj, just to me, Mark. He said, I am very, very happy to read your reply, wherein you are appreciating and thanking devotees. This is the Vaishnava mood. I myself give credit to the book distribution to Bhima Prabhu. You read Bhima. Bhima is the source of my inspiration for book distribution. And keep up this habit of appreciating and glorifying devotees. So I have that letter, that email. So Maharaj was, that was his mood. That encourage devotees, appreciate devotees. Amogila Prabhu in his glorification was saying that Shivji is the real Bhutnath and Kalyug ke Bhutnath hai His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Because जितना useless आदमी है उसको ज़्यादा engage करना आता है महाराज को. So that was his mood. That appreciate devotees, cooperate with the devotees, and don't take credit. Of course, we have this whole, at least I have this super tendency of wanting to take credit and get credit. But through that email, he appreciated that and he was very happy about it. Once I remember we were traveling with Maharaj somewhere in the car, somewhere in Mumbai. And I just told Maharaj, we have one devotee, one donor in whose building MS Dhoni stays. He बोल दिया Maharaj, ठीक है. Immediately looked back with a serious face and he said, go and cultivate Dhoni. And I said, okay Maharaj, I'm serious. You must go and cultivate him. Bring him to the temple. That never happened, but that was his mood. He has cultivated the prime ministers, he cultivated the presidents, the big industrialists, the big businessmen, big politicians. Maharaj would personally cultivate these people, and they would be, completely mesmerized by Maharaj's way of talking, my Maharaj's purity, and it would really touch their heart. Once we were sharing with Maharaj some managerial issue, and telling Maharaj, this is not right, Maharaj, that is not right, this devotee said like that devotee said like that, this person is troubling us, he's always behind us, is that. And Maharaj said, be humble. So then I just told him, Maharaj, how much humble to be? Or kitna humble honge? How much more humble should we be? So then he just sat behind in his chair and he said, you know what? Once when Prabhupada made me GBC and I was standing here only in Juhu, and Prabhupada was up and I was down, and this one sannyasi, Prabhupada disciple from America, he came, he didn't agree with me on something, he just came and he slapped me and he threw me out of the room and I fell on the ground. And then he just stopped talking. And then basically what he meant was, if I can tolerate that and still continue, then what the hell is your, chota mota, small, tiny mustard seed issues? So then this was many years back. And then recently, again, something came up. So then Maharaj was just saying, in his room, he was saying that the secret of success is to be humble. Yes, this is something that I can share from my life, is to be humble. And then I said, yes, Maharaj, you had once shared about this devotee, and you were, really, I told you that. And he was a bit embarrassed by that, but he wanted to. Always he would say, just be humble, be humble. Sometimes it would be too much to hear that just kaise humble. But he showed that by his example. One of the glorifications His Holiness Badri Narayan Maharaj gave. He's a sannyasi, Prabhupada disciple. He said that we have seen Gopal Krishna Maharaj's glories of late, the last 25-30 years. But all of you don't know that Gopal Krishna Maharaj was made GBC by Prabhupada. He was a Grihastha at that time, amidst a movement of all sannyasis. All the leaders were sannyasis. He was the only Grihastha. And nobody would take him seriously. And in spite of that, he just continued and continued and continued. Bhurijan Prabhu was saying, the last time Bhurijan Prabhu met Maharaj, Bhurijan Prabhu was glorifying the various achievements of Maharaj. Maharaj, you've built 18 temples in Delhi. You have so many disciples. You've done this, you've done that, book distribution and all. And Maharaj lowered his head and Maharaj said, there's one small other achievement of mine. So Bhurijan Prabhu asked Maharaj, what is that, Maharaj? Maharaj said, this year will be my 50th year on the GBC. And Bhurijan Prabhu was just saying that he's the longest serving GBC member. People would just not be able to handle managing in India because there was no people, no money, and nobody wanted to be in India. So from 75 onwards, Maharaj has been handling India. And from that time till now, Maharaj was the chairman of ISKCON India. So, handling so much difficulty, so many turmoils. ISKCON went through such a rough phase in the 80s. And from that, Maharaj brought out this jewel that, ISKCON Delhi has 18 temples. Juhu is flourishing, Mira Road, Kharghar, so many, Gujarat, so many temples. Then Maharaj's zones outside of India. And all this, the single-handedly he has done. What no other Prabhupada disciple has done that much great services His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj has done. If you think about book distribution, His Holiness Bhakti Vijay Bhagwat Swami, he was in his glorification, he was saying that in December, just before the marathon, Maharaj had brought the whole Mayapur Sankirtan team to Delhi to take blessings from Maharaj. And he told Maharaj, please आप blessings दो कि हम इस बार मायापुर दिल्ली को defeat करें. और although Delhi आपका zone है, पर फिर भी आप blessings दो. Maharaj looked at him and said, मायापुर भी मेरा zone है. Low, सारे blessings low. And then, so Mayapur, Delhi, Ahmedabad, Juhu, Pune, all these are Maharaj's temples. And if you see, around 80% of the worldwide books that are distributed by these 5 temples. They're all under Maharaj. So in December, Maharaj would just go from one temple to the other, giving Sankirtan, pep talk to the devotees. Book distribution. That was the only thing. In December, I remember once, some of you may have even participated. We used to have our Vrindavan Yatra in December, and Maharaj would get very annoyed. That's the only time you have to go over. We have marathon going on. You should not go at that time. Then eventually, Sitaram, we just changed the whole yatra and we stopped going in December because he would just not like it. He would want December 1 month means distribute Prabhupada's books. That was his thing. Then I remember in the lockdown, we had started. Many of you would remember. We had this whole program of reading Prabhupada's books, and we would read that 1 hour in the morning, and then we would read Chaitanya Charitamrita in the afternoon, and then we would read Leelamrit at night. And this went on, and then we started the morning japa session also. So then after some time, after 3-4 months of that, I wrote an email to Maharaj because Maharaj was in Delhi, he was not coming here, no way to talk to him. So I wrote an email, Ki Maharaj, these are the things that I'm doing during this time. We are, all these devotees are joining and we are reading, and this is how we are engaging ourselves, and this is just for your knowledge, and please guide us, help us, and correct us. So Maharaj wrote a reply. I'll just read that. He wrote, Dear Narottam Priya, blessings, all wishes of Prabhupada. Thank you for your detailed report. Srila Prabhupada wanted disciples to send regular reports. This will keep disciples on their toes. Then again, it's about something about family. I'm glad to hear all that. And then he said, I am missing Juhu temple very much. It is not safe for me to travel at this point. Then he wrote, please give blessings to your family. And then something else about that. And then he wrote, keep in touch. Your ever well-wisher in service of Srila Prabhupada, Gopal Krishna Goswami. And then he was so happy that, if you would be accountable and write like this, he told 2-3 devotees about this. So then 2-3 devotees were like, क्या लिखा आपने महाराज को? महाराज बहुत खुश हो गए. महाराज बता रहे थे हमको भी ऐसा करना चाहिए. So he would want that. Although he would be traveling, he would want some reports from the disciples, from the devotees about what they are doing. And that's what he would do. If you saw in that video also, he said, I would go to Prabhupada, I would give reports, and Prabhupada would be happy. Then recently when Maharaj came for the Bhiwandi temple opening, now Bhiwandi is such a Chintu temple. Now you all must have seen the videos of Rohini temple. Grand, massive temples. In Delhi, so many massive temples. Pune, massive temple. In terms of that, Bhiwandi is like, the watchman cabin to these temples. It's like that small. But still, Maharaj removed time. Sitaram Prabhu requested and Maharaj came. In spite of his difficult health, he came and he installed Radha Madhav. He did Pran Pratishta ceremony. He did Netrayan ceremony. All those things he did. And he blessed ISKCON Bhiwandi. After that, also a couple of times he came. So, in fact, the first time Maharaj came after the property was acquired, Nitai Madhav Prabhu, through the donor he preached to, the property came. So, after some time, Maharaj came there. And that time, this was the only bungalow and nothing else was there. There was no money for anything. This is 2018, I think. So Maharaj came there. He came out of the car and the first thing he said was, you should acquire all these plots. And now that has come true. The devotees' hard work, all the plots are acquired. At that time, we were just scratching our heads thinking, there's no money for even construction. How will these things happen? But Maharaj said and it happened. So, he came to Bhiwandi for the temple opening, even after that couple of times, just to encourage us. He had so much love for Sitaram Prabhu. Sitaram Prabhu, he would really appreciate. Again, not on his face, but like whenever I would go to meet him, he would ask, how are you doing? How's your family? How's your service going? And the fourth question, where is Sitaram? Maharaj is here, he's there. And then, so of course, for Maharaj's love for Sitaram Prabhu, then Maharaj came, he opened ISKCON Bhiwandi. So those are wonderful. We cherish that for the rest of our lives. Maharaj installed Radha Madhav there. Then, during initiation, the 2021 initiation, which now happens to be the last one that Maharaj gave here. So I got the service of telling the names, sitting next to Maharaj. So our Sri Sudama Prabhu's thing. So I saw before the initiation started, I saw all the names. Kiska kya hai, kiska kya spiritual name hai. And Sri Sudama Prabhu's name was the name that Maharaj had the name that was written there for Sandesh Bhandare was Sangi Sudama Das. Sangi Sudama kaisa naam hai? So then when his turn came, then I just kept the mic and told, Maharaj, he's the chartered accountant, he's a brahmachari, he's joined full time, he's going to serve in ISKCON Bhiwandi, he's going to take care of all the accounts, he's going to do youth preaching, cut, I said. And so by the time Sudama, got up and Maharaj gave the beat, Maharaj changed his name. From Sangi Sudama, Maharaj just crushed the chit, threw it, and said, your name is Sri Sudama Das. Then when we started our Annadan, so being the puffed up people we are, we would go and Maharaj, Annadan kar raha itna. And Maharaj would just look behind and said, how many plates are you distributing? Maharaj, 1,000. You know how much Dwarka is distributing? They distribute in crores. Yes, Maharaj. Maharaj, we are doing online preaching, how many people are coming? Maharaj, 31 people came on Zoom. You know what Amog Leela is doing? Then, so it would go on. And then when, as Sitaram was also telling me today, we also had the experience once we were in Maharaj's room and we were appreciating Amog Leela Prabhu a lot. Then Maharaj became very happy. One Mataji, disciple of Maharaj, Radhika Kripa Mataji. So, Maharaj, she's doing such wonderful preaching. Then he would be very happy. When he would glorify his disciples, he would be very happy. Maharaj used to love and respect his god brothers so much. I remember the first time Rameshwar Prabhu came back. He had been away from ISKCON for many years and he came back. Rameshwar Prabhu was the BBT in charge during Prabhupada's time. So Prabhupada used to really love him a lot. So finally, after so many years, he was coming back and he was coming to Juhu. So Maharaj made sure everything is arranged properly. His arrival, he had sent Chaitanya Prabhu, you go, you be there early, and then he would call Chaitanya, have you reached? And then, where are you? Have you returned? And then Maharaj was personally there welcoming Rameshwar Prabhu, who had left ISKCON for a long time, but now was coming back. And so that love he had for all his god brothers, so many of them have spoken that how they were so loved. Maharaj would give his own car to them. Maharaj would give his own room to them. So just, loving and caring for his god brothers. And there are many things. Once recently when I was with Maharaj, I was just telling him, Maharaj, so many wonderful things you have done, this, that. And Maharaj just, with head down, he said, Krishna has been very kind to me. Krishna has been very, very kind to me. That was his. It was not that, yes, I worked hard, yes, I did this, that. Krishna has been very kind to me. And the will also Maharaj has written, Srila Prabhupada has been very kind to me. And it's been a privilege to serve you. My last interaction with Maharaj was purely managerial, 1 month back on the phone. Anyway, that was it. In hindsight, seems to be a fitting conclusion physically, because Maharaj also left like Bhishma Pitama. He left on the battlefield, attending the bureau meeting in Dehradun. And in spite of the fact that he took a fall, he continued being there. He was not well. If you heard Dashavtar Prabhu's offering in Vrindavan, Maharaj didn't want to go. He was not well. Everyone told him, don't go. Nobody told him, Maharaj, you should go. Everyone told him, don't go. Maharaj said, how will it look? I'm the host. I'm the chairman. I will go. And then with bad health also, he went, chaired the meeting and left his body on the battlefield. So there's a verse in the Bhagavatam, the chapter of Bhishma Dev, where it says, and then that great personality, the warrior, the guide of the Pandavas, the guide of the Kuru dynasty, stopped speaking and went back to the spiritual world. That's exactly what happened with Maharaj. One day he was chairing the bureau meeting, and the next day he decided that now it's time to go. And so then we all heard, we were doing kirtan, and then of course next day Maharaj left. So this will that Maharaj has left, which we read, is enough for any devotee to get inspiration. It's the lifetime of instructions for the disciples. Even if you're, if you consider yourself just being inspired by Maharaj, not a direct disciple, those are instructions for us for the rest of our life to follow. Always be in ISKCON, serve in ISKCON, be glorious representatives of ISKCON, don't fight with ISKCON, cooperate with each other, strictly read Prabhupada's books, follow the 4 regs, chant 16 rounds, 25 on Ekadashi. And I have no personal assets. My assets are only the watch that Prabhupada gave me and my DTs. So this is the exemplary personality who we had the fortune of associating with. Those memories will remain, and his instructions are there. His wonderful lectures are there to take inspiration from. His personal example is there, and in this way, if we just continue serving Srila Prabhupada, following in Prabhupada's mission, doing something as Maharaj wrote, make ISKCON dynamic. So if we can do our bit to serve Prabhupada's ISKCON, then we know we have all the blessings of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and Maharaj's blessings will continue to be there on everyone who serves Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON. His Holiness Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.